Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to checking out the YouTube version of Cinematic Autopsy. We've noticed a lot of you are watching and have not subscribed.
Yes.
So,
Please
it would,
subscribe.
yeah, before we begin, it would be wonderful if you guys could click on that little link right there, right, see where I'm pointing right there, and you'll notice that if you scroll down, you'll see subscribe. So subscribe to us, CL Squared Productions. You'll be able to see our videos, stuff.
We have lots of cool
our
content for you
trailers.
guys. You'll know everything that we're up to in the film world, whether we're talking about it or doing it.
Exactly. So let's give you 5 seconds to subscribe. All right, everyone. We'll see you guys soon.
Hello, greetings.
Greetings.
I'm Sir Charles D. Lincoln, Esquire.
Yes. Did you put Esquire in your name too? Oh my God, Charles. Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm a fancy lad, as you're aware.
Yes, the fanciest. Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Yes. Welcome to the Cinematic Autopsy podcast.
That was actually pretty good.
Yes. Well, I'm very good at accents.
Yeah, so that's Charles and I'm Chelsea, and there is a party going on directly above me, so you might hear that. Just a heads up.
Yes, it's a Thanksgiving party. Yes. But yes, I've been just had a lot of shit going on. As you can see, the walls are bare in my apartment because I'm dealing with shit and will not be living here soon. So it's that's one of the reasons why we delayed, because it's just been like life has just been shitty.
Yes, and I'm traveling. So
yes. And I thank all of you for being patient with us during this
trying an unprecedented time.
Yes, trying and unprecedented. Yes.
Yes.
But thankfully, I've been knighted by the Queen since we last did
from the
podcast.
Grave. From the grave.
Yes. Well, Queen Elizabeth and yes, boy. Anyway, so we're here to talk about
the Crown.
Yeah. Do you know I've only ever seen like 2 episodes of that, and I wanted to, and I just kind of like got lost in the first season and then was like, I'm not going to watch these 900 seasons.
It is worth it. It is worth it. I haven't seen the most recent season, but I've seen everything else, and it is like, oh wow, fantastic once you get into it. But it is a thing. It's like there was like 5 times where I tried Game of Thrones, and you remember that. I was like, no, I want it. And then I just had to like actually give it the chance and go further into it to love it. So that'll probably be better. Kids. Yes. So I am in a strange library, and all 3 of my chickens are attacking each other. Yes.
Yeah, we're I would also recommend, by the way, you check out Endor, which is it is Star Wars, but it's amazing.
I like Star Wars, I just don't know it.
Well, you should see that. Here's what I suggest you do: is watch Endor, and then watch Rogue One, which will lead into the first Star Wars film.
I've seen Rogue One.
Yes, but you've only seen parts of it. You didn't see the whole thing, if you remember.
Did I fall asleep? Did I leave? What did I do?
Well, it was hard to follow for you at the time.
Oh.
I think you were occupied or something, but
yeah, me never.
But anyway, I tried to show it to you in Stuytown. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, but I would suggest watching Endor first, because it was the best fucking drama show of like 2022.
Oh, cool.
Or 23. I don't remember what year it was, but it was.
I don't know what year it is ever.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
No, it would have been 22. It would have been 22 because it got delayed. The second season got delayed till 2025 because of the strike.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I never even know what day it is. I have to be in the fucking I didn't realize that tomorrow is Monday. which means I was planning on like working. I'm up in Massachusetts, and I was planning on doing a fucking photo shoot tomorrow here, and I realized I have rehearsal for a play I'm in the city, and I have to be back in the city. I have to drive back to the city and get to rehearsal by noon and drop off all the kids in my apartment. So
Yes.
the moral of the story is know what day it is.
Well,
or what year.
Chelsea is currently on location for our film Hellraiser, the 2022 film, which of course shows the glory of the Berkshires, via Serbia,
which is where I am.
I still find it odd that they put it in the Berkshires without shooting in the Berkshires.
Well, I mean, like, it does have like a reputation to be one of the most beautiful places in the world.
That we don't see any of. We see a forest. Like, we see a road in a forest.
Yes, we do. Also,
so,
our parties were not like that.
Mm.
Even if we were rich, they are not like that.
Yeah. So we are covering the Hellraiser remake from 2022. Which, by the way, I want to kind of give a little caveat here. See, I can use words like that because I am an Esquire.
Yes.
Basically, I enjoy the film. I just think that I enjoy it on a curve because the Hellraiser films that came after 3 were so fucking bad and just got increasingly worse and worse that this was like a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
It's nowhere near as good as the first 3 Hellraiser films, but it is a big improvement. But there's still some things that we both had a discussion a little bit about after you watched it.
Yeah.
Where we're like, hey, that could have gone better. So
like Peanut should have been Pinhead.
Well, that would have been weird.
It would have been awesome. What are you talking about?
I don't want to see a skinned dog. That'd be horrible.
It's called prosthetics.
Which she would eat all of the prosthetics.
Pins are edible, right? No, Peanut, bad Peanut.
That actually happened. I was reading about that with Resident Evil, with the first Resident Evil film with Mila Jovovich. How they had to use CGI dogs because when they tried to do practical, the dogs just kept eating the makeup.
That makes sense. Ma'am, can I work right now? Do you mind?
No.
I am your work. Okay. Gert, can you help? Gert's asleep. Okay. Monkey? Yes. No, useless.
So this movie was directed by David Bruckner and stars Odessa Azione as Riley and Jamie Clayton as Pinhead. Which is weird to just be called Pinhead, but I guess
as opposed to lead Cenobite.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Yes.
So we are in Belgrade, Serbia, with this drone shot, which I guess was they're like, hey, we're in Serbia, we might as well show where we are.
Yeah, there wasn't really any relevance to Serbia whatsoever. Like, it didn't
except
really matter.
they shot there. But that could have been Philadelphia. That could have been New York. That could have been any like, that could have been like Queens. Any particular area, you could have just called it that. Because there were, I don't even believe they even showed any signs in Serbian.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder like what the tax incentives are in Serbia. Like why Serbia? You know what I mean?
Probably for the same reason every horror movie was shot in Prague for about like 15 years.
Yeah, but what's that reason?
How cheap everything was.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So we see an older woman in a car. This is Serena. And she's meeting a man with a satchel in like a little shitty like playground area, whatever. He has a box for her. She says it's not to be taken lightly. And I was kind of hoping he would show up myself. And she says, Mr. Voight never does anything he can get someone else to do for him. And then we cut to Chelsea's parents' place in the Berkshires.
Yes, definitely. That's where my parents live. It is a mansion. They do exist all over the place here, but
It's not my parents' house.
Yeah.
No, my parents are not rich, but they're rich at heart.
It's
It's the Berkshires. Does it even say the Berkshires or does it say Berkshires?
it says the Berkshires, I believe.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I wrote down just Berkshires, Mass, and I'm like, no. You know what? Like, if someone from the Berkshires, actually, no, I shouldn't say this to Charles because then he'll use it against me forever. All right,
What?
I'm too far into this now.
What?
People who call it Berkshires, you can go fucking fuck yourself. We hate that so much more than anything. Don't call it the Berkshires, the Berkshires. No,
Berkshires?
it's the Berkshires, you fucking fucks.
The Berkshires. That's where the hobbits of Massachusetts live.
Yes.
So...
Monkey, you coming to say hi?
Mhm.
Nope, you're just gonna destroy the printer? That makes sense.
So we go to, it's some sort of like mansion party where good-looking Hollywood kid is watching people like kind of gently fuck in another room.
Gently fuck.
Yeah, it's not like, I mean, hey, I've been to orgies and I've been to mansion stuff like this. And
yeah, me too. Yeah.
It does not look as clean and fucking
artistic and sensual
as this looked.
You're like, are they fucking on their own vomit? Whose vomit are they fucking on? That's more realistic.
I distinctly remember this one in New York where speaking of Massachusetts, my friend brought her boyfriend with her. She was a journalist, and her boyfriend had to run interference between her and a man who looked a lot like Ted Kennedy, who had no pants on. And that's usually the type of people you see in these things.
I mean, like, I'd be nervous too. Like, if I were that dude, I'd be like, I gotta fucking, like, cut off Winnie the Pooh Kennedy as soon as I can.
We thought it was me and his girlfriend thought he was not very amused, but we thought it was the funniest fucking thing ever. We're like, this is this like white bread fucking all Americana kid who just, wasn't from New York, had just been like, moved here with his girlfriend from somewhere in the Midwest or something. And the first time he goes to a party like this, there's a man with like his fucking dick hanging out being like all rude to his girlfriend, and this guy having to like physically run interference because the guy kept trying to talk to her. And he was just like, the man's dick was rubbing against my hip. And I'm like, welcome to New York, buddy. I'm like,
it happens on a daily basis here.
Yeah, I said to him, I'm like, hey, he didn't get hard. You can call that a victory.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I love that. Me
and his girlfriend thought that was the funniest thing ever. And he's like, I'm never going to one of these parties again.
This isn't even a party. This is like someone upstairs just like throwing, I don't even know what. Like, it's a headbanging party, apparently. They don't care about Thanksgiving.
Yeah. But I was just, the thought that occurred to me immediately was, well, I'm sure that a lot of people are going to be very upset at not inviting you. So this is the party we're talking about, where I'm like, parties didn't really exist like this for like, even if I was like hanging out with people who actually had money, it was never like this. It's very artistic. The growing up as a band geek and like a theater nerd too, the more realistic thing that as far as parties goes is like after a show we'd like go to Friendlies and get fribbles and sing musical theater and annoy everyone. That was realistic. I feel like I would actually be uncomfortable at this party.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like a fun party. It seems like it's all just a fucking act for Mr. Voight.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, normally when I'm at an orgy or something, it's everyone like very like, hey, we're feeling ourselves and being fun. And this just seems like Mr. Voight would like it if you and you were to copulate. Like, that's what it just feels like.
I'm Mr. Voight.
Like he just went and like cast out of like, a fucking modeling agency or something, because everyone's too pretty too.
Everyone's way too pretty.
Yeah.
That's unrealistic for the Berkshires too. That's
honestly, I thought that was kind of my problem with like even the character of Trevor, I thought was too pretty for what his character is supposed to be.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So Serena's at the bar, the same lady from Serbia.
Who had the box.
She's at the box.
Wooden box.
Give her a box. I'm sorry.
Chelsea. And
So this is Joey. She's Serena.
yep.
She works for Mr. Voight, who is the host, who's me. I'm Mr. Voight, played by me. Um, he'd love to
Actually,
meet
who
you.
is he played by? Did we either of us look that up?
No. He's great at his job in this. Like,
well, that's why I will look him up because
Okay,
I
he
feel like
was great.
we owe it to, I've seen this actor in other stuff too.
Yeah. You
Um,
look him up. I'll keep going.
yeah.
Because I'd like to join this party at some point before it ends. Because I like headbanging.
Oh Jesus Christ. Okay, Goran Visnijigic. Last name spelled V-I-S with an accent over it, N-J-I-C with an accent over it.
Okay. It's
So
like
we'll
you
just
said.
call
You
him-
said his last name, and I was like, it reminds me of Brad Pitt in *Inglourious Basterds*, where he's like Gorlami. That's what it reminded me of. Grazie. Like
Yeah,
how you pronounce that guy's name reminds me.
So people who have listened to previous episodes will understand that there are certain actors that I will look at and I will be like, oh, I don't care what character they're playing. That's always going to be Brad Pitt. Like, fucking Bullet Train. I love Bullet Train, but that is Brad Pitt. It's not any particular character,
Yeah, totally.
This man will never be that person. Because I cannot pronounce that name, but he was good in the role. He was very good in the role.
He was very good in the role. So basically, Serena's telling him that Mr. Voight wants to see him in this room past the double doors. And you know what's funny? That this room with the double doors, what's in it behind that looks just like the center fucking room in the Pittsfield Museum in the Berkshires. With like little artifacts and stuff like that. Like it looks exactly like it. I was like, did someone in locations come and actually scout what it looks like here? Because like they nailed the Berkshire Museum Center room. They really did with this guy's room. Yeah.
I take it there isn't a big impenetrable metal gate, and cage outside of the Pittsfield Museum, though.
No, but instead they have this giant dinosaur, a giant stegosaurus. Actually, that's where I got Steggy's name from. Steggy's my favorite stuffed animal, who's also a stegosaurus, and it's because I used to call this Stegosaurus outside the Berkshire Museum Steggy growing up, and so he's the big impenetrable gate because you can't get past him. Yes, he's dangerous.
Okay.
And very real.
Okay.
And absolutely real. But yes, no, they didn't have that. That's for certain. So he walks in there, and it's like ancient artifacts, and the Hellraiser box is in the middle, and he's drawn to it because he's an idiot.
Yeah. It's shaped like an hourglass here, though. It's in a different configuration.
It's in a kids. Mommy is live right now. Children, that's quite enough. Children. Sorry. So I just like because they don't talk about the configurations like at this point. So I just immediately felt disappointed that it wasn't shaped like a box. I was like, no, why'd they change it? I don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually looking up what the different configurations are at the moment as we speak. There's Lament, which is
I was hoping that you wrote them all down.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't write them all down.
There's Lament, which is life. There's Lore, which is knowledge. Laurelant, which is love. Liminal, which is sensation. Lazarus, which is resurrection. And Leviathan, which is power.
Cool. Yeah, I did not write any of that down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone else did. Someone else did it for us. Because I wasn't because it's not like there's there's not like there's 6 acts of the movie that all focus on what the different configurations are. It's like written in like a book.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about to pause it and
I know. I just was like, it was like some of the passages in this movie and in other movies, like I'm like, this is a true test of like how fast can I type without having to pause this and rewind it. This one I failed. I was like, Charles, I'm sure Charles did it.
So he told Joey to finish the puzzle, and Joey's like, if I solve it, do I get a prize? And Mr. Voight says, I do.
I do.
Which
I do.
that really sound, I don't know. That sounds shifty as all fuck.
Yes. Yes, it does.
You know. I mean, I wouldn't imagine like ending up in hell, but that sounds like, you know, he's gonna fucking do you in the butt or something if you solve it.
Yeah, no,
You
I
know?
like if you don't know anything about the Hellraiser movies, you could think like of like the realistically that it's like he's gonna be like captured and sold into human trafficking or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Okay, do you want to come back up? Okay, stop barking at
it
anyone.
definitely sounds like he does not have good intentions for you if you solve the puzzle.
Yeah, so
You
why
know?
do it? Also, he knew how to do it immediately.
Yeah, I saw an article that actually complained about things that we're told are one thing and are different in other things. And someone pointed out every Hellraiser movie, the box seems really easy to solve.
That's funny.
You know. So, you know, and somebody even pointed out in like part 2 where they get this one character to help the doctor, and it goes, she puts her thumb over it and then pushes one thing and then it's solved. And it's like,
Yep.
why did he have to hire this girl to do that? At least in this one, a really long needle comes out and pierces your hand. So
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. It was some kind of
yeah,
like weird, like ancient looking butterfly knife type thing. It was
yeah,
cool. I liked
yeah.
it.
And
I liked it.
so it pierces Joey's hand. He goes to escape. Oh God, I was like slapping my thighs, and I was like, "Oh, that's a noise. I'll have to edit out. Let me not do that." Joey goes to escape, and then Mr. Voight presses a button to keep him in there. And
Yeah, he flicks a switch on a light board. Like it's the thing
yeah,
that turns all the like the lights off and
yeah,
on, but it puts this impenetrable gate named Steggy the Stegosaurus down on all sides. Yes.
yeah. So the walls open, hooks with chains on them, grab Joey's knee and pull him. You know, and I do like Mr. Voight, like kind of looking at the now dagger shaped version of the box while just Joey's getting torn apart in the
Well,
background.
because he's so excited. He's like, he's
Yeah,
finally at Leviathan, you know? That's
yeah,
the final one.
yeah.
That's huge. That's
I am a
important.
penitent of the. Well, he didn't actually. That was Leviathan's what he gets at the end of the movie. He actually gets
This is the one before
liminal.
that.
He gets
Liminal.
sensation.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, what happens is you have to go through there's so many rules to this one now. Like, you have to go through all 6 configurations, and then you pick one as your reward.
Yeah.
So this was the final configuration, and then he picked liminal, which was sensation, where he gets like a fucking hurdy-gurdy in his chest or some shit. You know?
Yeah, that thing's crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. So we go, you know, I am a penitent of the Leviathan. Leviathan, of course, being the god of the labyrinth established in Hellraiser 2. And which is what which is what the shape of the box when it's kind of dagger-esque, that's what it looks like in Hellraiser 2, Leviathan. Grant me this audience, grant me this boon, and then we go to the Hellraiser logo and we cut to fucking.
Yes. We cut to fucking.
I don't know. Have you ever heard a guy say, "How's this speed? Is it good?" I mean, never
like,
vocalized
it's something that a really nice boy probably would say in like high school. Like
really?
I could see it being said in that kind of way. I'm not saying it was me who heard that. I don't think so. But it sounds like, how was this? Was it good? Like he's really nervous. Like, everything okay? Not like this fucking fucker. I fucking hate this guy.
Yeah, you know, how's the speed? Is it good? Like Jesus Christ. And then he says, "I love you."
It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So here's, you know, my whole problem is that I feel like this should have almost been a different guy than Trevor.
Yeah, because there was no, like, well, no, actually, I kind of like that it was still Trevor because because you cut to 6 years later after this and you think, oh, they stayed together. That's so cute. And then you realize that like, no, he's still a prick and kind of like not wanting to be a part of her life still. Like, I think
Yeah.
that I liked that like correlation a
Well,
lot.
it's not 6 years after that scene. It's 6 years after the first scene, after the stuff with Mr. Voight.
I thought the
They
6 years
haven't.
later came after they had sex.
Yeah, it came after, but it's her literally just walking out of the room from there. They saved the 6 years later Chiron for there's more space in the hallway in the frame.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, the fact that like that could even be a thing that's confused means they should have black screen or something is how they should have done that.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I'm with you. Absolutely.
Yeah. So she comes out. She has a lot of her brothers there, his boyfriend, her brother Matt, his boyfriend Colin, Nora the roommate, who I don't remember any dialogue she has, even though I know she has it. And yeah, everyone's looking at her and is like, you guys heard us fucking, and Matt doesn't like him. They hooked up in a 12-step program, and Matt is fairly overbearing about her, even though I can kind of understand it, having had junkies in my family.
Did they specify heroin?
They specified pills more than anything.
Oh, it was pills. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they? Okay, so then I guess maybe this is just me not knowing, but do they call junkies pill poppers? I thought the junkies was just for heroin.
Junkie is kind of like an all-purpose derogatory
Because it's not
term
for like weed or
addicts.
cocaine.
No one gets addicted to fucking weed. Those are,
I agree to disagree.
It's not an addictive substance, and cocaine. You're
not a junkie if you're doing cocaine.
People who are addicted to cocaine are just called stockbrokers. Okay.
Yes.
They're called stockbrokers and musicians. So that's
yes. And all of New York City.
it all just depends. Do you have money to pay for the cocaine, or is the cocaine given to you? That's how you can determine whether you're in the musician or stockbroker category of cocaine addiction.
That's hilarious. I never thought about that.
Yes.
That's actually really funny.
Yes, because I've known both. So, and she hasn't had rent. He's been covering for her. And she agrees she won't see Trevor, and then she goes to Trevor's place where he has a big pinball machine, obviously to piss off Fiorella LaGuardia. And and he mentions that they're being lonely together.
Yeah, because he's a fucking like that's a really clever fucking excuse for like not wanting to commit to this girl. Is what I think. I'm like, this guy, what the fuck? Just be like, we've been fucking for this long. Just like don't commit, but have some sort of something where you're like, not ashamed of the fact that you're with her.
Yeah.
Makes me sad. This girl deserves the world.
So he also has a gigantic place.
Yeah, he does. I'm like, what do you do? What do you do? It's like I had a dog walker that drove like the nicest BMW I've ever seen, and I'm like, you're not just a dog walker, are you?
Well, later on, I figure all that money came from Mr. Voight, and but she wants to get a better job because she's tired of being broke because she's obviously an actress. So he has an idea that her brother wouldn't like. Remember the thing I posted once about how if you give someone art, they will be entertained for a week, but if you teach them to be an artist, they will be broke for a lifetime. Yes. Yes. It's unfortunately true.
It is. Charles and I don't know how to do anything else. That's the thing.
Yes, exactly. I am woefully underqualified for anything except being a fucking
You know what? No, we're podcasters now.
Yes, which it counts as an artist.
It's true. It does. It does.
Yes,
it does.
So he has an idea that her brother wouldn't like, and I do like when he mentions her brother like he's a little angel on her shoulder, and she's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
do like
also
that
like
movement.
Matt is annoying as shit because he is like, yeah, I know we already talked about this briefly, but like I can understand being overprotective of like your attic little sister, but like this man is like, it's like he's too overbearing. Like he
Mhm.
is so intense that it would make me want to do bad things more, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And Charles and
I,
I are both like this. We're like, if you tell me not to do something, I'm gonna do it. You
no,
know?
I've had people like him in my life. Like, thankfully
Me too.
I've never had any addictions. Well, I have several addictions, but none that like, got out of control. No
I get
like
addicted to everything.
no like drug. Yeah, like I mean I'm a compulsive shopper who fucking never has money
Yes.
and is
My godchild said to me, we were celebrating, I mean, Thanksgiving. We were celebrating Thanksgiving. And and my godchild, who was only 17, right? Uh I pulled out my like, I'm addicted to Mr. Colonel's white cheddar more than anything. Charles can
yeah.
attest to this.
Yeah,
And
you put that on everything
I
except
put it
pizza
on
where you put ketchup on it.
I put ketchup and white cheddar on my pizza. I'm actually, I fucking, can we take a break? I want pizza. Just kidding. Um, Thanksgiving pizza. Um, I can smell it.
I've had it.
But my godchild was just like, Chelsea, that's the thing. Like, I've never seen someone be addicted to something more. And I'm like thinking in my head, like, fuck, that's really bad. But I'm like, she doesn't know any better. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, that is definitely my biggest addiction.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's never been anything that's like ruined my life.
Yeah.
Like I certainly enjoy the sexing, but I'm not like, doing a homeless woman in like a corner or something like some people who get like really addicted,
I don't know. She could be underneath your desk right now. We don't know that.
I think my voice would be a lot less steady.
I don't
So
know. You're
unless
kind of a pro.
yeah, well, true. But I am a former sex worker, so
I meant like you're a pro actor. That's what I meant. Like
true.
you can keep it fine. Like that's what I meant.
Hey man, sex work is real work, okay?
Sex work is work. That's
Exactly,
artistry more than
exactly.
anything.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There is so much fucking acting to that. People have no fucking clue.
Mhm.
Like, that's on another meme, and then we'll continue with the movie. But someone pointed out about how, everyone's like, oh man, I'll just quit my job and be a stripper. It's like, go ahead and try it because you ain't making no fucking tips. You need to be athletic. You need to be an actor. You need to fucking, it's not just getting in there and I have my ass is showing. Like, no, you need
Yeah,
to
no. I could never be a
really
fucking
fucking
stripper.
perform.
I
Yeah.
don't have the upper body strength. I'd fucking die. Can you imagine? Oh
Yeah.
my God, it's not in here right now, but like a part of my agreement with why I'm traveling is like there's a brand that I'm working for and I won't mention them because I'm about to complain. The and they send me a bunch of stuff and I usually love what they send me and like it's just a whole big thing part of my life is like the fucking stupid influencer shit. It's not stupid. Please keep working with me, everyone. But they send me shit and I like post
Hey,
in it. And
cameo.com/Chelsea.
Cameo Chelsea
LeSage.
no, not that one, but they sent me a bunch of shoes this time, and I
Mm.
usually love the shoes, and they are the ugliest couple pairs of shoes I have seen in my entire life. Like I wish I was like, God, I have so many stripper friends who would love these shoes. And I'm like, Chelsea, no stripper has a size 11 shoe. Like,
Yeah,
no one's gonna fit in these shoes.
I was gonna say the funniest part was, I guess, if I ever decide I wanted to cross dress, I could ask you for the shoes.
That's true. You could.
Yeah.
They're literally. My mom was like, Elton John called. Like, what?
I
Elton
want to
John's a
see these
stripper
now.
now.
I want to see these now. Are they like high heels or are they platform?
There's a pair of both.
Okay.
One is like silver sequined, and one is like an over the knee platform like 6-inch heel. I put them on and my mom came up to almost my belly button.
And what color are they?
One's silver sequins and one's like black leather. Yeah.
Hmm.
Very exciting. The
Well,
black leather is more your style.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll keep the black leather one in mind if I ever need that. I'll wear it with my chaps.
It's a great idea.
Yes.
God, I really hate. I donated you remember you had me in assless chaps a long time ago, and
Yes.
I fucking gave them to Stag and Lion, and I wish
Yeah.
I didn't because they do Shakespeare. Why do they need assless chaps?
I mean,
I'm gonna go ask for them back.
I was gonna say there's certain performances you could get over on, and
That's true.
yeah. So
Let's do a Brokeback Mountain steampunk Midsummer Night's Dream and
yes, exactly.
use my assless chaps, please.
Yes, exactly. I actually own a pair. Because I was doing enough stuff where they wanted me to be like a gay dude in the 70s, so I just bought myself a pair of like chaps.
Yeah, smart move.
Yeah. So
I did too. What was it called? Search and Destroy. That's where I got it.
Yeah, that's where you got them. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that still there?
Yeah, of course it's still there. It's still, and I would be, you would have heard from me if it was not, because that's like the last village place from like my like fucking, teen years and shit that's still there.
Yeah, makes sense.
We're all, all of us are all like worrying about the day it isn't, but as of now, it's still there, and hopefully it's there for years and years to come.
Yes.
So
Hellraiser.
Yeah. So basically, speaking of leather chaps, we go to she talks about a job that that she can do, and there's like storage places where there's billionaire shit, and there's one that's abandoned.
Yes, no, it's the one that has, yes, the whole thing's abandoned and there are shipments out of it, but there's one storage locker that has not been cleaned out yet.
Yeah.
And he wants to break into it with her and split the profits with her of selling whatever's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Did I make that up? No, I was right.
Yeah, so they sneak into the storage place. It has a big container thingy in there. It appears to be, and then a container thing. Do you know what they call the container thingies? Like the big metal container thingies you always see on ships? Do they have a special name, or they just containers?
Yeah, no, they're called shipment containers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what they go in, and there's a safe in there, which she basically just hits the knob off with a sledgehammer.
Well, I love that. I love that he couldn't do it and that she does it. After thinking about it.
But he doesn't even try. He's just sitting there drinking a beer while she's doing it.
Well, I think that he tried before we got to that scene, because we're in the middle of that scene when they cut to it.
No, he wouldn't, because remember, he was sent by Voight to get someone else to do it.
Right.
Yeah, so he never even tried.
But he says, if I can't do it, you can't do it. So that makes me think that he tried and failed on purpose.
See, to me, that sounds like just challenging her to get her to do it. I've done shit like that. I've 100%.
I'm saying that.
No. But I'm saying
I get it.
He never even tried. But just kind of challenging her. Oh, well, if I couldn't do it, you couldn't. And well, fuck it, I'll do it. And meanwhile, he's never even tried it. It's just it's the clever way to be lazy. So yes.
Or a total fucking piece of shit like this man.
I mean,
I didn't say you.
I am an esquire, so I cannot be.
I am an esquire.
Yeah. So inside the box is another box. It's the wooden box, and inside the wooden box is the box.
Yes. It reminds me of in The Emperor's New Groove, where Yzma's trying to plan to kill Kuzco. And she's like, oh, I have an idea. I'll turn him into a flea, a harmless little flea. And then I'll put that flea inside of a box. And then I'll put that box inside of another box. And then I'll put it inside of another box. And I'll ship it to myself. And then I'll smash it with a hammer. I just had to finish it,
That flashback to everyone who heard our Emperor's New Groove episode, because Chelsea does that entire thing on that episode too.
I actually just watched it this past week again.
Yeah. I remember how happy you were that I enjoyed it. But
it's a great movie.
Yeah. So we go to Matt and.
Never mind. I'm moving on. We're moving on.
Okay. Yeah, we go to Matt and Colin in bed together, reading Darkness by Lord Byron, which I felt super fucking gothy and pretentious that I knew what the fuck he was reading.
You knew?
Yes!
Children! Kids, stop.
Of course
My
I knew. It was
goodness.
fucking Byron, man.
No, I
But
mean,
yeah,
see, I love that they're going over like Percy and all these other things, and then
yeah,
they're shocked that it's Lord Byron.
yeah.
So
But
fun.
my question to have you ever done like I was like, man, I've never done shit like that. And then I thought maybe Chelsea has with like Shakespeare in like different passages or something like
Oh
that.
God, yeah,
Yeah.
all the time,
Mm.
all the time. Yes, yes, to the dogs.
Yeah. Because I realize I've never legitimately read out loud outside of school. Like
It's not true. You're an actor. That's reading out loud.
no, no, no. You know what I mean? From like a book in bed with someone personally that I'm not working with at a time
Makes
that I'm
sense.
not working with them. You know,
That
it's
makes sense.
different. Like it's different. Like say we've run lines together. I don't consider that the same thing.
Yes, I know. I'm just being a
Yeah,
bitch.
yeah.
Um.
So they're trying to
Oh.
get you. Oh God. So Riley comes home. She's making a lot of noise, and her brother goes to confront her. And turns out that she's a little drunk. He tells her to
Mhm.
sleep it off and then pack her shit, which by the way is illegal. Just
We've recently found this out.
yes. But so uh basically you want to play games, you will lose, Riley. Pack your shit, get the fuck out of my house. And she says, I thought you'd never ask. She leaves and goes past his boyfriend who tells her to come back inside. It's just a bad night. And then she
Mhm.
starts beating up a car. I assumed it was her car. And then a silver thing falls out, a pill case. She dumps the pills on the street, and we see we see the boxes in her stuff as she stuffs pillows into her back seat, and then she picks the pills picks the pills off the ground, and then takes them despite them being really dirty.
Dirty and wet because it seemed like it was like a little rainy
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Like I'm like they would have already started dissolving. This is silly. Peanut, come here. Nut, 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 nut.
yeah. And then she
Nothing.
climbs into a playground that has a fence that looks like it's about 2 feet high. Um,
Yes.
which and fingers the box a little bit, and it
Not
snaps
as
into,
sexy as Doug Bradley does, though.
well, no, but she
Nobody can.
snaps into a more open shape, and she thinks she broke it. And then she makes the sides match, and a blade pops out, and then the wind picks up as the pills start kicking in.
Yes, the pills start kicking in.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
they
here's where
did.
we had a nice overhead shot of her on a spinning on. So she's on the roundabout, which
The
is
roundabout.
yes,
Yeah,
and
what the fuck is that?
what
What is that called?
a roundabout? That's what it's called.
Great. That sounds great.
Which I've always known. I did not look that up during our break.
Is it really called?
So
I didn't
yes,
call
it's
it a
called a
roundabout
roundabout.
growing up.
We never had a name for it growing up. It was just
It's just like that thing in the playground that's always there, of
yeah,
course.
yeah. And it's but it is called a roundabout. So we get our first glimpse of a Cenobite, but only for a second here. And
Yes, they're creepy as fuck. I loved it. She thinks it's
yes,
ghosts.
yeah. See, I'll say I love the design of the Cenobites here.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of love how in the first one they wore the original series they kind of wore leather, and in here they kind of were the leather. Um,
Yeah.
like their own flesh was basic because all of them are naked except like their flesh is what makes their outfits. Their flesh is twisted and which is pretty much what I would have done. I think like I love the design. I think literally the only difference from if I had been designing them to what they did here is I would have made them a little grosser. Like there would have been more veins and the results of doing those kind of cuts and pierces
Yeah,
and
like because
stuff.
I'm sure that like they never really healed properly or the
Yeah,
scarring or something.
exactly. And I think that would have been a big part of them is they would have had like the scars like in like they would have had like the little bit of yellowing infection on the ends and stuff like that. But
Delicious.
otherwise I thought they looked amazing.
Yeah, no, they do look really great. I love what they did with
Yeah.
them,
I
for
will
sure.
say, I will say, and you and I have talked about this off the air. I think there's too many.
There is so many.
because there's like 8 in the film.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think you should never introduce something like that with more than like 4, counting
Yeah.
Pinhead.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because I just like I feel like they were almost like, hey, we don't know if we'll ever get a sequel, so just let's use every single idea we have for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it would have been so much more efficient to just have 3 of them, and then in sequels you can introduce the other 4. Like,
it's like they had the money, but no guarantee of having the sequel. So
yeah. So I feel like they kind of put a little too many of them here.
Yes, agreed.
Because then only 3 of them really stand out.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know,
It's true.
like I can't even name all of them. You know,
No, I mean, like, there's the chatter dude.
there's Chatterer. Then there's Asphyx, which is the one with the lungs popping out of the back. Then
Asphyx?
Asphyx. Then there's the Weeper, who is the one that was crying all the time. But that's the thing, is like, it's just too many.
See, it's too many. Like, I won't even retain any of that. I mean, they were really fucking cool, though. They looked really cool. And I liked how they randomly showed up.
Great design.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So she is told the blade was meant for you. Come with us. If not you, bring us another. And she starts bleeding as this version of Pinhead solves the box, and chains emerge from Riley's chest and wake up her brother. But then it turns out it's a dream, which I kind of love that sequence.
Yeah.
And Colin says to just call her, and then Matt goes out to go and look for her. He sees her passed out in the park, runs to her. He's worried she's overdosed. He grabs the box and gets cut from it. And as his hand is bleeding profusely, he goes into the bathroom to rinse off the blood. And I'm sorry, I would not fucking go with an open wound into like a park bathroom. Those places are fucking nasty. They're
disgusting.
Man.
They're disgusting. It's also shocking. Like, one of the most unbelievable things is that, hold on, Gertrude's playing with a ball. Hold on. Oh my God. Gertie, no.
So, yeah, I'm just going to say the first sink doesn't work, because of course it doesn't, because those places are fucking nasty.
Thank you.
So
I can hear your music.
Yeah, so what were you saying? I was talking about how, of course, the first sink doesn't work because its places are gross.
No, what I was saying is that it was just like shocking. It was shocking to me that the bathroom was open that late.
Yeah.
That's not realistic.
I've been to places where they're open like that, but that's also places where there are also places where they're, number one, not as nicely lit, and also where, fucking Republicans go to fuck their fucking, they're the guy they picked up at the truck stop.
Yes.
So, but those places do exist that are up that. I'm adjusting this because I have an itch. It's not like the guys who have
I'm an Esquire.
Yes, I am no longer Charles D. Lincoln Esquire. I am.
Oh, what? When did you do that? When did you do that?
I'm magic. Anyway, so we see the box starts absorbing his blood, and Bathroom gets foggy. He's getting dizzy. I like his reflection not moving. And the walls of the bathroom start becoming the labyrinth. And we hear Matt scream. And she runs to the bathroom. He's gone. And then the paramedics are interviewing her on how high she is.
Yep, and she has the box.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nora sees that she has blood on her, says it's Matt's blood. She's seeing things, and that the box cut him. Colin's concerned because Matt just wouldn't leave, right?
Yeah.
And they're frustrated. So I don't know.
Yeah, no one believes Riley here.
Yeah, no, because I think that Matt is somehow so toxic of a brother too, in a way that when she's not around, his primary focus is still her and talking shit about her. So they have this notion or this idea in their head about her, and therefore don't believe her.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it does sound crazy, but if you were to like come and say something like that to me, I would be like, that's nuts. But yeah,
Well, that's
okay,
also
what do
because
we do?
I'm me, and you know that if you found out that like, oh, Charles found some fucking esoteric, object, it wouldn't be that much of a surprise.
No, it wouldn't. You're right.
If you fucking got a newspaper from 20 years in the future and discovered I'm like looked at as like Aleister Crowley of like 2044, I don't think you'd be that surprised.
That's true. That's true.
Charles was kicked out of the Abbey of Thelema in Italy. It's like, well, of course, it's Charles.
Wait, I'd be like, he was allowed in Italy.
I am actually. It's
I know
England.
you
I'm
are.
not allowed it. So she goes to see Trevor. He goes to kiss her. She's really horny. And
yeah, she's
fuck.
definitely horny for someone whose brother just disappeared and she's covered in his blood. It makes sense.
Yeah, in fairness, I remember when my grandmother died. I was super upset too, and like, a person I know talked about how like, she thought that would be a good way to make me feel better, which it did.
That makes sense.
But
yeah, but no, not when you open your eyes and a Cenobites there, which is what happens with her.
I mean, that's different. But I want to say, by the way, I like the touch of it's a nice touch. Aha, pun intended. Of the thumb in her mouth while they're fucking.
Yes.
Yeah, just because you don't, like, it's little things like that you do in real life that a lot of movies don't really do.
Mm-hmm.
Just little things that, oh, this is a thing a person likes to do while they're fucking. But while they're fucking, she starts seeing the new version of Chatterer. And
yeah, which I like that they kept Chatterer. That makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was really cute. He was adorable. I want one as a pet.
Wow. So he interrogates her about what she took, and she explains it's a puzzle, and of course he doesn't want to touch it. He says he doesn't fuck with shit like that. And so they have a bunch of questions about how to find who owns the building, and they go to the hospital where they see Serena, and Serena, her lungs are rotting out. I guess it's hospice or something. I don't know how that really works.
Yes, yeah. It's probably what it was. Like she gonna die.
Yeah.
She's not doing too good.
Yeah, and she talks about how Roland Voight was monstrous and sadistic, and I sorted out his mess of an estate, and that was the last thing I ever did for him. What you're after is dangerous. It ended Voight's life, and it will end yours or worse. And Trevor wants to nope out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. How did I feel like I missed like half of this scene.
You know why you do that? Because they don't ever explain how. It just goes from, well, whose place is this? Who owned the place, to meeting Serena. It feels like they cut out about 3 scenes.
Interesting.
At least for me, I mean, it seems like that's the type of thing you would like show them discovering or looking up or something like that.
Yeah. Entirely.
But it just goes right to them talking to Serena.
Yeah.
So basically she says, Serena points out it's not the first configuration. My brother touched it and he's gone. And that's when Serena's like, so you've seen them. Rollins used to see them too. Angels, he called them. You'd think a devil would know a devil.
I love that line.
Yeah.
So much. I love it so much. So she's gonna lock it up. The Riley moves wait, who gets stabbed? What?
All right. So let's go back to our point earlier about how easy the box is to solve. Because they start fighting over the box and somehow solve into the next configuration. Which then cuts Serena.
Makes sense.
And
I did it to myself, she says.
Yeah. So they leave, and I do like this scene of like how we start hearing the wheezing before we see any of the Cenobites or whatever.
Yeah, before the walls start opening, the labyrinth
Yeah,
opening. Yeah. No, it's
yeah.
cool. It's really cool.
And
Uh,
well, go on.
no, so a man is so they're definitely in an infirmary, I think, in this point, like at this point.
Yeah,
What did I say? The one with the pigtails is very exciting.
I have no
Is there a
idea.
Cenobite with pigtails?
I don't recall a Cenobite with pigtails at
Was that
all.
drinking? Probably. No, I don't know.
So
Um,
yeah,
so the
I
it's
don't know.
Serena's running and Cenobites following her. They're on either side of her, laughing. She's asking, she's saying sorry and to have mercy. Um, so they grab her neck and Pinhead. I love how she slowly takes a pin out and puts it in her mouth and says, "Save your breath for screaming." I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I put she gave her a peppermint swirl like an old lady. Uh,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yes. So
Absolutely.
Riley looks up Roland Voight, even though he knows him, but he's being deceptive. Um, and we
Trevor
get
looked it up, yeah.
yeah. Sorry, Riley's looking it up. Riley's looking it up.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So the vanishing act of an occult collector is a real estate mogul type. Interestingly, it said he's only a millionaire, though, not a billionaire. Which I
Yeah, that doesn't make
guess,
any sense.
yeah, it seems like he has an awful lot. Like, the millionaires don't have as much money as people like would think now.
No, it's a
Like,
fairly normal. They can't even buy the main room at the Berkshire Museum.
yeah, like I don't think that he would be able to have all the stuff he had if he was only a millionaire.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So and they see his place in the Berkshires and how he disappeared. And meanwhile, Trevor's on the phone to someone outside, which I actually don't know who that was, because was he calling Voight?
Yeah, I think so. Which
But
it
I'm
seems
like,
like
Voight
he's
is
so
hiding in his walls. Voight is answering phone calls while he's like, you know.
Boyd is hiding in his walls. Skipping ahead for a second, I just want to say this because I'm going to forget about it. That when you cut back to it and you see the all the gate surrounding the big house and
Yeah.
stuff, I was like, wow, that's like really, really fancy scaffolding. We don't have that in the Berkshires. Did they do their research? What is he renovating? I don't understand. I
Oh
was like,
man.
oh, you dumb shit.
Hmm.
Like, of
So
course.
so they go to the Berkshires, the phone rings. Colin asks where she is, and they all feel lost without Matt. And meanwhile, Trevor runs off with the box. He's going to throw it away. And they're driving this windy road. They get to when they get there, they obviously go wrong because they don't stop at CVS. And
Yeah, it's funny. I was at a CVS today
man, I
with my dad.
with all the controversy, I actually forgot the joke I was going to tell when she was taking the pills, and they were asking what did she take, and I was like, well, had they the pill finder app, they would know. So
They would know.
so I would find it awful suspicious that the gate of the place opened for her.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I'd start to think that like she's the one who has something to do with all of this.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
place, yeah, the fancy scaffolding, I said it looked like some sort of weird art installment.
Well, that makes sense too. We would never have one that big and not have it at a museum, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So
literally what I wrote was fancy ass scaffolding. We don't have that shit here.
so she gets there, she plays with the switches to find out what they do. And the skylight and the gates and all that sort of stuff. And she makes her way outside, and I was kind of debating with myself. It's not even called a backyard when it's that huge anymore, is it? What is it even called?
Your property,
Really? It's just,
the acreage,
huh?
yeah,
Crazy.
or your backyard.
I don't
I
know.
think we all say your backyard here.
Really?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So she enters a room with artwork and there's sketches of. Wow, that sounded more condescending than I wanted it to. Really fascinating. Anyway, so we
You sure you don't want to be Esquire again? Because that makes more sense.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean for it to sound as condescending as that did. So she enters a room where there's artwork and sketches of the Cenobites. Here's what I really, really appreciated, and I hope you noticed this too. They started playing a variation of the Hellraiser theme in a different key.
Yes, which
I
you
enjoyed
loved.
that. I really enjoyed. No, because you know what? The sequels after Part 5, no, from Part 5 on, don't even have the Hellraiser theme.
Really?
They just have some generic sounding like horror score.
That's stupid.
Well, I guess they lost the rights and couldn't afford to pay Christopher Young anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
So hearing variations of that theme in a different key, and what I really love is towards the end when she's solved everything, it is in the same key as the original.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they obviously had a bunch of money.
Yeah, they had a bunch of money, and I also enjoy the fact that they, they kind of they made it in a way that it doesn't erase the originals. This could conceivably exist within the same world as the originals.
Yeah.
And in fact, the fact that they wanted Doug Bradley to have a cameo in this and he said no to it very easily, and the fact that he said that he wanted to keep his legacy as Pinhead where it was means that I think that they probably had an intention of maybe him at the end of the film or something, showing that both orders exist.
Oh shit. Yeah, you're right.
Like that would have made a lot of sense actually if when Voight is being transformed, it's not the newer Pinhead, but it's the older one that is like helping to sculpt him or something.
Interesting.
That's just me as a writer thinking of what that cameo. I know
what they could have done.
Yeah, I know it's a cameo, and I know what Doug Bradley said, which makes it sound like they wanted Doug Bradley to be old school Pinhead at one point.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of cameo, cameo.com/Chelsea.
Yes, but it would make sense. But like that to me, thinking of the film, that's the scene it would make the most sense for. Mm-hmm. If you say if it's basically saying that old school Pinhead is the one sculpting the new Cenobites.
Yeah.
Like that totally ties everything together and explains why they look different and all that sort of stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, like the Pinhead in this could be like his daughter or something crazy,
Well, it wouldn't be his daughter because
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
they're in the same Cenobite family.
Because I know the lore way too. I'm like Elliot Spencer didn't have a daughter, but that was Pinhead's name when he was a human. By the way, was Elliot Spencer. But yeah, he was a soldier in World War I.
Interesting.
Yeah. So she plays with the stuff, and
she plays with the stuff.
The audience they talk about the audience with Leviathan. And she hears Matt's voice calling for her and starts looking around the mansion for him. And the one line that I got is, Matt, is that really you? And it's, do you want it to be? That's not the proper answer. That is never the proper answer.
I'm your brother. Do you want me to be your brother?
Yeah.
Creepy as fuck.
Yeah. If you're ever dealing with any sort of supernatural or demonic or paranormal thing, and you ask, hey, are you the person I know? Number one, it never is. Number two, if hell, remember in fucking Demon Hunter, Julie calls that out right away.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. So he wants her to bring him back.
Yeah.
Which I mean, like, in no way, shape, or form would that ever have been like a possibility, right? Like, is that something in the lore where like there's been an occasion where someone's actually been brought back if they did all these things? Oh yeah, Frank, duh. Chelsea.
But you
know what I mean, though.
It's monkey's paw shit. Sure, he'd come back, but next thing you know, she's fucking posing as a sex worker and bringing him fucking old men so he can get his skin back or something.
That's true. I was like, what's wrong with Monkey's paw? She's okay.
So,
I'm really pretty today.
At this point, Trevor, I would call it
Trevor Noah.
Trevor, Nora, and Colin are all there together. Man, that would be just the weirdest, like, demonic thing where just Trevor Noah just shows up and, like, I'm here to,
yeah.
I'm here to guide you to the box.
I've been here the whole time.
So, what do you think I did when I left the Daily Show?
Why do you think I have this job?
Yes,
this box.
I bought this place in the Berkshires cheap.
That's a funny thing too, is that nothing's cheap here anymore. Like it's crazy. Like during 2020, on the list of places that people moved in the entire world, Pittsfield, Massachusetts was number 3 in the world of places that people move. Monkey, is your paw okay?
So Trevor just wants to grab Riley and get out, but then he decides to see what drinks they have, which, don't do that in front of Riley, dude. That ain't cool.
Yeah, it's like if she's comfortable enough. Monkey is sifting through papers right now, so that is what you hear. It's like if she's not at the place, especially if she just got out of, like, if she's just been sober for like 6 months or something, like that is, you can do it eventually. Now is not the time, bro.
Yeah. So they go into the room where they claim that it's a fuck dungeon. Which I want to know if in the script it says interior fuck dungeon timeless. Every time they're in that room. I bet you it does. I bet you it's just marked as fuck dungeon in the script.
Yes. I bet we could find out.
Yeah. So Nora's playing with stuff and accidentally turns some music on. Trevor is making sandwiches with food that should have been suspicious to everybody else, by the way. Because if Voight is gone, all that food is 6 years old.
Yep.
Yeah,
they don't even make canned goods that last that long anymore.
Yeah, so if he's making sandwiches, someone's buying fresh bread. Maybe it's not Voight doing it with the fucking Do
they know at this point? Have they been told at this point that Voight's dead?
Riley has.
But did that already happen? That already happened, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And according to Nora and Colin, they have been filled in on what's going on.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at this point, Nora
her paws are fine.
There you go. Nora opens up a path in the wall. She got toe beans. And Riley starts trying to explain to Colin what will happen if she opens the box completely, and she thinks it'll bring him back. And he's had enough crazy talk. Nora's following a hidden bath. And I just noticed at that point, I noticed Nora had an accent.
Like that she failed at keeping her American accent for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't even notice that she had an accent up until that point. And I'm like, maybe she has one. Maybe she's been, So she starts, Colin isn't believing her. She goes to get the box, but it's not there. And we see someone's playing with the box, and if you've seen the movie, it's Voight, but at first it looks like a Cenobite in sweatpants, which is a very weird visual.
A Cenobite in sweat. How the fuck did I miss that too? Because I feel like that's something I would have said. I would have been like,
because you just see like the mechanical thing in his chest, and you see his sweatpants, and I'm just like, that's a weird outfit for a Cenobite to be wearing. Was my very first thought when I first saw the film.
Yeah. When did you first see it?
The day it came out. The very first day was on Hulu.
Okay, so it never went to theaters, right?
No, it was made directly for Hulu. Like, there's not even information on the budget because it was directly a Hulu.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's no information on how much it cost. Obviously, there's no box office because it only went to Hulu.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's no information on any of that. So I don't know the budget. I don't know any of that stuff that we normally would know.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
So
crazy. Lots of
yes.
monies.
So at this point, Nora gets stabbed in the back with the box, which did, you know, seem kind of silly at times.
She got stabbed
Um,
in the back with the box. Yes, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes. I'm trying to find my spot in my notes.
yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah, got
yeah,
it.
so here's where we find out there's a man in the wall, and the box starts shifting to the next configuration, and that's when we find out that Roland Voight is in the walls.
It's so interesting. I mean, like, why is he in the walls?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, because theoretically, you don't need to be in the walls.
No, he could have had a room that he's just watching shit from or anything like that. Like, but they have to have Nora go into a secret passage in order for Nora to get stabbed with the box.
Yeah.
So, you know, Riley realizes what's happening and they decide to drive out of the Berkshires and get her to a hospital. And I gotta say, I do love the effect of them driving while the road starts changing, and
Yeah.
then the fucking back of the van starts changing.
It opens into like a shipping container. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, really interesting.
Well, it became less like it wasn't a shipping container. It was more like the
A
walls
massive, yes.
of the labyrinth. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Really cool how they did that. I loved it.
Yeah. And
Um,
yeah,
she
and
could,
then oh, go on.
my worst nightmare of like, I'd say of all time, other than like an accident happening to my kids, is like the fucking, like is something going through or like severing my Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
every time I see it on film, I'm like, that's the biggest visceral reaction you will ever get from me is seeing that happen on film. Like
Mm-hmm.
because and they did so good. They made it look great.
Yeah, she gets twisted into a really uncomfortable position.
Makes sense.
You know.
She hasn't done Shibari in like 5 years, so
And
it's just
then,
not flexible anymore.
and then we get Pinhead, like, what is it you pray for? Salvation. And what would it feel like? A joyful note without change, without end? Heaven?
Yeah,
There's no music
there's
in
no
that.
music in that. She
Mm-hmm.
takes the pin out of her head. Oh, I love that. And pierces her windpipe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's brutal.
But there
Um,
is so much more the body can be made to feel, and you'll feel it all before we're through.
I don't know. That's really probably my worst nightmare. The- This sounds terrible. This life
Yeah.
sounds terrible.
I
Um,
mean, yeah. It's supposed to.
so her
It's-
entire back gets ripped off, like clean
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
And they get in an accident because obviously there's some like fucked up shit happening in the back of this van. She goes to throw it in the river. Riley goes to throw the box in the river. Pinhead says no.
Well, I was gonna
Like,
say, well, we should explain that while when they get in the accident, Colin and Trevor start arguing, and then Riley sees a bridge,
cool. Yes.
yeah, over the river, and that's where she goes to do, yeah, so.
Great. I mean, that does make sense. Yes. Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm like, yeah. So there's a river, right?
You know?
I'm doing really great today. Oh God. It's my bedtime, children. Just so you know, the children who are listening. The brr, So yeah, the Pinhead says no, and we wish to see you proceed. I didn't ask for this, but you did. Two more, and then he's yours. Talking about like bringing Matt back.
Yeah.
Unlock the
Accept
next
the pain you were
configurations, and
brought. Greater delights await.
yes, greater delights. I love like that. There's just the biggest fucking sadists on the planet. It's really cute.
Mm-hmm. And what
Really
I
cute.
love is I do love them when she asks, "What are you?" and they revisit the line from the original, "Explorers in the further regions of experience, of sensation's rim. Our gifts are boundless."
Yeah, yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I really just like love this whole franchise. I have like so many like lore questions, but I feel like
You can ask me them off the air. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I even used to read the fucking comics Clive Barker wrote, so I know
Really?
like the full fucking thing.
The
I don't.
canon.
Yeah, I don't want them. Yes, you do. Our God awaits. You know what it can offer: resurrection. Your brother's ending was exquisite. Would it bring you comfort to see him again?
That's what she says basically, to choose two more.
No, I've done enough. Enough is a myth. Which I love that line. I feel like I should tell people that.
I've had enough. Enough is a myth. I've done
Yes.
enough. Enough is a myth.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and at that point, the box cuts her, and she says, "We will not be denied. Your blood is in our hands now, ours to claim at any time. But the box I leave in yours. If not you, choose another."
Yep. Yep. Choose two more, because that was it.
Yeah.
It's just two more. She got there real quick. Real quick, like. So she's walking with Colin and Trevor. She's not gonna offer you anything. There's a hole in the floor, and Trevor takes her away. Chatter comes out, which is very exciting. And I mean, like, it's like I think they did a good job with, the characters of like Noah and Colin and Matt, whereas like seeing the Cenobites and like realistically trying to like deal with them for the first time, especially denying their existence previously. Like, I feel like the actors did a great job in like trying to come to terms with the fact that this is real.
Yeah.
I
will say, even as someone who doesn't really care very much about those characters, I will give this film that I at least remember their names. As opposed to, say, the Evil Dead remake, where I remember Mia, and I have no idea who anybody else was.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's true.
So Chatterer bites Trevor and tears open his wrist, and then she stabs Chatterer. And I like that Pinhead, instead of being angry, kind of gets a, "Oh, this might be amusing" expression.
Yes, I love that. The thing is, though, that like how he was bit, like he'd be dead.
Well, yeah. You have to kind of keep. Colin should have died way sooner. Colin doesn't die, but he should have died like way sooner than even the climax of the film, where it looked like he was going to die.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So hooks come out and they tear Chatterer apart, which I did not like how CG it looked for me.
Yeah, it's also just interesting. I mean, because I don't know the rest of the canon. If this is the first time a Cenobite has been torn or used as one of the victims.
Hellraiser 2 even has that happen, actually.
It does. Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, it was the first time I saw that. I was like, that's clever.
Yeah. Hellraiser 2 has a more powerful Cenobite being made, and he turns on Pinhead and all the other ones to take over.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's where he kills them, and when they get killed, they turn back into their normal human forms, which is where you find out the original Chatterer was actually a little boy.
What?
Which I kind of love, by the way, that touch without they never explain his backstory, but think of what a fucking sadistic little boy he had to have been accepted into the order. Like,
and be the only other fucking Cenobite whose name everyone knows.
Yeah. So I always loved that detail. That when Chatterer, like Pinhead was Elliot Spencer, the female one is just a woman, and same thing with Butterball was just a dude. But Chatterer was a little boy, and I always loved that touch.
Did they save you finding that out for the last thing? Was that
it's in the last act of part 2, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but remember, Clive Barker was trying to make Julia the main character, so I think he thought, well, let me kill off the Cenobites so that we can
make Julia. Yeah, no, I just had this moment, and she was great. It's obviously, but I just had this moment of like, who's Julia?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah. So, I do love that the Cenobites are in no hurry when they're all running back, they're gathering, and here's where I think there's too many of them. But I do love that they're not in a hurry. They're just like, well, we'll get you eventually. You can't really run from us, so let's just walk.
I want to slowly glide.
Yeah. Trevor,
I'm going to take my pet sloth for a ride. I'm going to ride on this giant sloth.
Yeah. So Colin's trying to slow down the bleeding on Trevor's. I'm sorry, it's actually Trevor who gets bitten by Chatterer. We said Riley. I mean, we said Colin. It was the other way around. But still, Trevor is awful fine. Like after getting bitten, he lays down for a little bit, and then he's totally fine later on.
Yeah, it's like, was it some sort of like illusion that they were just doing for him?
Oh no, he still has the wound.
I know, but like maybe they could have done something where he doesn't feel any pain about it, things that So otherwise it don't make no sense.
Yeah, so they start looking through the various pills to see which ones work. Had they just simply gone to the Pill Finder app, they would have known what to do. Pillfinderapp.com or whatever it is. If you guys want to give us money, we'll be more than happy to work the Pill Finder app references into every episode.
No, it's true. They have to be really like doing very fucking well.
Yeah. So, Colin, they're a fine product. Anyway, so Colin is looking for something for her hand too, and Riley lays down next to Trevor as we see Voight watching, and Riley's hand is wrapped. Cenobites are hanging, just, while more of their friends hang out. And at this point, we kind of figure out that the metal framework keeps them out.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to mention, because the notes that I took were are far more scattered and I guess verbose or absolutely not verbose, and things that I wrote down being like, I can abbreviate this and I'll remember what the fuck they said, which of course I don't, because it was a couple days ago when I watched it. But I did write that when we were going through Trevor's hand ordeal, I wrote, I hope they fucking cut it off. I hate him. But they didn't.
Yeah, here's where Riley is telling Colin to go run off with Trevor since they're coming after her.
I wrote. So the fancy ass scaffolding on the house keeps the Cenobites out. What the fuck? That's what I wrote.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it kind of could make sense. I could figure.
No, it does make sense. I just thought it was scaffolding.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it could be made out of some special metal that, like how salt is supposed to keep, protect from spirits and all sorts of stuff like that. So I figure with his millions and millions of dollars, I'm sure Voight had, spent probably a good 15 of it to figure out how to get this stuff working. And then had no other money because he's only a millionaire, not a billionaire. Yeah.
Totally.
And here's where we also learn that Trevor's a big old traitor.
Yeah, Trevor is working for Voight. If you haven't figured that out, because we said it at the beginning.
Yes. Even though we didn't figure that out, but it was,
No, I mean, I didn't like him, but I didn't he did a believable enough job. The script the character was written well enough and acted well enough where I didn't catch on.
I just wish he had looked dirtier. He looked way too clean cut and model fucking looking to me.
That's why you would never expect it.
Yeah.
If he was dirtier, then you'd be like, what if he's working for Voight?
No, but even just for, what the character was supposed to be, I always thought he was too clean cut looking.
Yeah.
But
also he'd never be hired as a male model. No, I'm just kidding. The actor is absolutely gorgeous. But, the character of Trevor would never make it as a male model, because people would be like, we really just hate your attitude. It's really bad. You need to go. Also, what's that weird scar on your wrist? I'm just kidding.
So, Trevor says he's handling it, and they know they're only one configuration again. And the little object in Voight's... I do love the object in Voight's chest that just fucking plays with his nerve endings.
Yeah, the nerve endings, for those of you who haven't seen it, the nerve endings are literally tied around these gears inside of this machine. It is so visceral and so, like, yucky.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't seen it, why are you listening to us spoil the whole fucking movie for you, dude? Like...
I know, but sometimes, like when we first started doing this, like sometimes we would not give any spoilers at all. And like over the years, we've just been like, you know what, fuck it. Like
we've never done that. We gave the whole movie away from Veronica on. We gave the whole movie.
That's not true.
Yes.
We have gone without giving spoilers towards like what hasn't happened yet. I don't fucking know. It's happened several times.
I don't recall us ever doing it. Ever.
Really?
We've avoided spoiling other movies that we're not covering. That we have.
You're gonna go and you're gonna listen to every podcast we've ever done now, because I know that I'm right, but I'm not gonna spend the time listening to them.
Yeah, no, unless it's the literally no. Every single one we've always talked about the ending and everything. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I call bullshit. But
no, we have.
But I'm happy to be wrong.
We've avoided other movies that we have. We've avoided like. As I can distinctly recall a couple times where we talked about either a sequel or something like that, where like one of us was like, "Oh shit, yeah, no, let's not spoil that because that's not the movie we're talking about."
Yeah.
But we avoided talking about the endings of sequels or stuff like that.
Okay, enough time spent on this because I'm like, we can agree to disagree. I'm sure you're right.
Yeah.
You must be right.
Yeah, no, I know I'm right because I know that I actually edited a spoiler for a different film that I remember us doing. Yeah, because if you're listening to it, you know what episode, you know what movie we're talking about. I hope you've watched the whole... We've said several times, I hope you've watched the whole fucking thing. But one day, I don't know if it was you or me or a guest, but someone slipped and spoiled the ending of another film. And that I did edit out.
Oh, well, good for you.
Yeah.
Yes, because I have noticed, like, I guess I've paid more attention to recently the amount of episodes, or I've been more cognizant or aware of the fact that we like talk about the end at the beginning all the time.
Yeah, yeah. So by the way, did you think that? Well, remember you turned the volume up too, because I remember here's where I wrote in my notes: this movie's volume is super low.
Maybe they didn't have a good sound mixer, which doesn't make any sense if it's a Hulu original.
Yeah, because I remember you turned it up too. I remember that.
Yeah, and my hearing's great. I don't suffer from what you do.
Yeah, no, because I watched it with earphones on, like I always do, pretty much every movie, and I actually had to take the earphones out and just turn the volume up all the fucking way on the TV. So whoever mixed it way too low. So at this point, Riley and Colin get a thing. They're going to lure one of the Cenobites in, then they're going to stab it. So that way it'll fulfill the thing. They're going to stab with the box. They're not going to like poke it with a fucking, butcher knife or something. Basically they go out there. There's a lot of Cenobites, and they lure Asphyx, which is the one with the exposed lungs and its face is covered. They lure it back inside, and it runs at one point, which was kind of weird to see. I didn't really like it running.
Yeah, I'm with you. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and it gets.
It also like you'd think that like the butterfly knife and like whatever like causes them to induce. And we haven't even said this. It like causes them to have some sort of like they slow down as if they're getting drugged once they get stabbed with it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any sense in the design of it that you would create something that would affect you if you were the one who was a part of the organization that was designing the weapon. Because you're not like a human, you'd want it to, because you're no longer a human, you would want it to not affect you if you got stabbed with it.
Well, according to Hellraiser, at least according to Hellraiser 4, it was designed by a human.
Well, I don't know these things.
Yeah. It was designed by a human, but there was like magic involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was the magician an esquire or a baron?
Yes. But
Both.
he was a marquis. He was French. But yeah, no, it didn't have the little spiky thing. That's a new thing in this, which I guess someone else would have designed. So basically they get it stuck in the gate. Trevor closes it on there, and they can't find the puzzle, and then Voight stabs Colin with it. And at this point, basically Riley realizes she's been betrayed. Voight says that Trevor was just doing what he paid him to do, and he'll continue to do so because this is the best deal of his miserable life.
Yes.
And the machine twists more in Voight. It goes through Voight's chest and out his back. He's claimed his rewards. And, he chose liminal. He chose sensation. But the Cenobites, their tests were not what I imagined. Their tastes were not what I imagined. They preyed on my nerves, pulling them in random cycles, stopping just enough so I could never grow numb. And he tells Riley, I don't know what they promised you. Knowledge, love. I sought pleasure, but all they have to give is pain. It's a trick. All of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Trevor lets the Cenobites in. And, she tells Colin to go. And here's from I'm not sure what she expects him to do. Because the van pretty much proved they can get you anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, that was a big issue I had too. Not a big issue, because I think the movie is good overall. I enjoyed it. But what's the point of anything that Voight really did?
Mm-hmm.
If they can get you anywhere? Because I'm sure that during that time 6 years earlier, that he had maybe been visited or had to deal with them in other places other than his house.
Yeah.
So what's the whole what's the point of putting the fancy scaffolding up if they can get you anywhere?
I guess maybe with the scaffolding up, it's the only way they can't get you.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. Which then makes it, if that's the case, then Nora leaving actually fucked her up.
Yeah.
Because if Nora had just stayed there, they wouldn't have been able to get her.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah. So,
Poor Nora, R.I.P.
Yeah. Voight tells Trevor Noah to keep Colin close by. I'm just gonna imagine how much funnier the movie would be if Trevor Noah was there as himself. I'm still here and I demand an audience. And the sky starts lightning and Leviathan emerges from the sky. So Colin basically, gets all kind of wrapped up in wire by
it's like chicken wire. It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, by the Weeper. And I do appreciate Voight putting his torn shirt back on with the object through his chest.
Yeah. Yeah. As you do. I love that like after he's cut with the chicken wire and he's like, she didn't choose this. They're like no, she said I didn't choose this, and they're like, yeah, you did. Like, I just love how blatantly
yeah.
But you did. You fucking stupid bitch.
Yeah. So Pinhead walks into the room with Voight and they shut the door in front of her. And here's where Pinhead looks annoyed. With the tell your God I built a cage and I've got his disciples. I'm not letting any of you go until it makes me right again. And I love that. What I love about Pinhead is Pinhead sounds like a fucking sales representative here. Let us in to address your displeasure.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. I also
Yeah.
just love because I remember that like speaking of Pinhead, we've talked about this off air, but like you remember how big, especially for the horror community, like because it hit huge mainstream news. Um, you're having a female Pinhead, and everyone was so excited, and I think she did a great job.
Mhm.
I did. That's all
Yeah,
I
no,
want
I
to
do.
say.
I do. I think she did a great job. But there is he
You're faced
basically
with an impossible task.
yeah, no, it's definitely the type of thing where you're gonna get the fucking fanboys bitching about shit and being, oh no, we're fucking woke and they've let girls in the clubhouse and blah blah blah. So
Yes.
but I think they did a very good job here. So Trevor, and I will say I actually like seeing, and this wouldn't mean that much for you, but as someone who's seen the Hellraiser sequels after four, it's
Hmm.
nice to see a Hellraiser movie that actually was written to be a Hellraiser movie. Um, because so many of the sequels were literally just a horror script that they had the rights to that was unproduced, and they would just like write Pinhead in like the last act.
I'd hate that. I hate that
Yeah,
so much.
and it was fucking just awful. I will say that like when I first started writing a particular thing that I wrote, I will say that I wrote it in my head of if I ever sold this and someone wanted to make it a Hellraiser script, it would be very easy with just a couple changes to make it into one.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
think about I'm not going to say which one it is, but if you think
I know
about
which
it,
one it is.
yep. And if you think about one character, take one character's dialogue, give it to Pinhead, and it would still work.
Yep.
You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
um, you just have to make him a little more mature, instead
Yep.
of how that character acts. But
Yeah.
so just let me die, I'm begging you. And Pinhead's like, there is no retreat once a threshold has been crossed. All you can do is search for greater thresholds. In fact, I realized, I imagine "Let Me Die" is something a Cenobite would take as an insult.
Well, yeah. I think so
you
too.
know,
I think
yeah,
so too. That's the only thing that
yeah.
makes sense.
Gifts
Yeah, no.
cannot, yeah, gifts cannot be ungiven. Only exchanges can be made.
I mean like there I
Check
feel
your
like
receipt, Voight.
I feel like as far as like villains go or whatever, that they're fairly malleable. Like you have
Yeah,
options.
yeah,
Like just it's not like they're like steadfast and strict and like fucking crazy about it. Like they're giving you options.
yeah,
And like so pick. Don't complain, just do
yeah. Perhaps we were wrong about you. You never sought sensation. Your whole life, every conquest, all your pleasures lie in power. For all your efforts, we offer the Leviathan configuration. And that's when the fucking just the chain that connects a fucking anchor on a ship goes through fucking Voight's chest.
it. Yeah, that it was I was like, that's the biggest chain that I've seen off a boat.
Mm-hmm. I wrote in big bold letters, giant fucking chain rips through him. And he gets like lifted up to the sky. You will know our finest gift. We have such sights to show you.
I'm so happy they said that.
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
happy they said that.
And
If they
meanwhile,
didn't
oh, go
say that,
on.
I'd be really sad. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. And meanwhile, Colin has a chicken wire all over him, but Riley says instead she chooses another and she chooses Trevor.
Yeah.
And here, by the way, is where the theme is in the exact same key, and I love
Hmm.
that. Yeah. I love
Yeah.
how they use the different keys to basically go. I wonder if they had a different key for each configuration.
Interesting. I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah. And then the final configuration being from the original Hellraiser series
Yeah,
would make a lot of sense.
totally.
Yeah. So, at this point, Colin and Riley go to leave, but Riley goes back to get her prize, and Pinhead goes over the various configurations. Pinhead asks, "What would you ask of us?" And she hears Matt's voice, and her brother's behind her. "Take my hand, take me home." And Riley refuses it. "I've seen your rewards, and I know my brother is gone. I don't want anything from you."
Mm-hmm.
And I love that Pinhead says, "Then you have chosen a life of regret, knowing everything you've done, everyone you've hurt and lost. Your suffering has barely begun. You choose to live, to carry that weight bitter and brief. You have chosen the lament configuration." I love that that's actually still an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first configuration.
Yeah. That it's like you're not really fooling them. That's still one of the options.
Yeah. What would you choose?
Oh man. I don't know.
We can talk about it next week. We can think about it for a week.
Yeah, no. We're not
that?
talking about Hellraiser next week.
I know, but we can we talk about a million different movies in every movie that we cover. We can think about it for a week and then just choose which one we'd choose.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Sensation. I know that because I was
clearly
complaining. Well, not only did I not want to fucking hurdy-gurdy fucking moving my goddamn nerves, but I also was last week I talked about how I think that if you're opening the gates of fucking hell and you use it, well, I want to come better, then you're wasting the opportunity. I might end up like Voight did at the fucking end of the film, honestly.
Yeah. No, you'd be fine.
Yeah, even though he loses his penis, which would be
he does lose his penis.
Yeah.
Yes.
She leaves the box there and she walks off with Colin. And what just happened in there? I made a choice. But I love how you can see in her face she isn't sure if it was the right one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we cut to a bright heavenly light. We see Voight, and he's naked and he has no hair. Which I won't make a G.I. Jane joke because otherwise Will Smith would come out and just slap me across the face.
Yeah, you can't have that.
But and he's attached to this like angelic looking machinery. His skin's peeling away.
His skin is just flayed. Yeah.
Yeah. Needles going through his body. His face peels away. He sees this blinding kaleidoscope. We pull back and look at him, and he looks like a pretty fucking cool Cenobite god thing with no penis. Yeah. And that's the moment that I thought to myself, if they were going to have a Doug Bradley cameo, that would have been it.
Yeah.
That would have been the perfect moment to have him in there.
I'm kind of happy that he said no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. But yeah, that's my last note was that's cool. That looked cool.
But yeah, like I'm just looking at the list of some of the Cenobites' names, like the Chatterer, the Weeper, the Gasp, the Asphyx, the Mother, the Mask. I'm like, I don't even know which one was the Mother.
I don't know what that was. It was the pigtail girl.
I don't know. I don't remember one with pigtails.
There was one with pigtails.
Yeah. So, so yeah, that was the Hellraiser remake, which it took a long while to get to.
Yeah, it did.
There was a long while where the studio was just putting out shitty sequels to keep the rights. And at one point in 2007, they were talking about a Hellraiser remake. And it was going to be directed by the director of Martyrs.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then the studio didn't want it because he wanted, as he put it, they wanted to, they removed him from the film because he wanted to make a dark, serious Hellraiser film. And they wanted to do something commercial. So, we then fast forward to 2013, where Clive Barker was going to go back into film and direct a reboot. Because he said that, well, I came to realize I don't own the rights to these films anymore, and they're going to reboot it whether I say yes or not. So why don't I be the one to actually direct it, so at least they don't ruin it? And
I feel like that's the right move. Like, you and I would do the same thing.
I don't know. I might completely divorce myself from it. You know me. I might like not even acknowledge it existed. And just be bitter about it for like years and years. I'm
way off.
Yeah. And he actually was going to bring Doug Bradley back as Pinhead in that. But he never heard back from the studio. He said he had finished a script and sent it in and never heard back from the studio after he submitted it.
Damn.
For like years.
That's brutal.
Yeah. And then finally in May of 2019, Bruckner was announced as a new director. And at the same time, Clive Barker finally got the rights back in 2020 to Hellraiser after a very long legal dispute. And he produced this version. He was one of the people behind it. He did approve of the script, and it went to Hulu. And that's where we ended up getting it from there. There's also a Hellraiser series being made.
I've heard.
Yeah, I don't know what the connection to this is, if there's any connection. If it's but there is one being made that Clive Barker also approves of. So hopefully.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully it's. I mean, the fact of the matter is, we've already said that there's like hundreds of Cenobites. So hopefully, if they do it, I would really like them to just not have Pinhead. Just focus on other leaders within the order and really just build the lore,
Yeah.
I mean, you could bring back, Jamie Clayton, you could ask Doug Bradley, or you could get somebody else who's just going to do a shitty job. And like, I would rather they just invent new ones and really just explore the Order of the Gash and all the cool things they do. You could even have an episode that explains that connects the two series of movies. You could do all sorts of things,
Yeah, the options are endless.
Yeah.
They just need a writer like you.
Yeah. Oh no, I would love to. I don't know who's doing it though. I'd have to look at. I used to know off the top of my head, but I don't know immediately. But this was I enjoyed this film. I mean, I think it could have been better in some ways, but for what it was great. And I
enjoyed it way more than I anticipated.
Yeah, and it was a huge improvement over the other Hellraiser sequels. So
what was so great about it too is that, like, at least for us as like reviewers and podcasters and artists and all that, is that like it was good enough where we could realistically talk about what we didn't like about it.
Yeah.
And have it not be a thing,
Yeah.
Like there was no like, can't believe they did this. It was just like, so this didn't make any sense, but also I love this. Like, it was the most evenly split thing.
Yeah, this is not Veronica. This is not,
And this isn't the greatest movie. This is not The Emperor's New Groove, where there are no complaints ever.
Yeah.
Right, Charles?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? There's it was really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So good job on that, guys. If you're going to do the reboot, even though I still would have liked to have seen what Clive Barker would have done. I know Clive Barker he said that his version was basically a remake of the first film.
Yeah.
So who knows? But that was Hellraiser. And next week we're going into our next film, where we're going to a film I've never seen. Chelsea has.
I have. I've seen both versions, and I'm really excited.
Yes, I have never seen Good Night, Mommy.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah. I'm anxious to see it. That was actually one of the reasons why we even did this in the first place. So
that you could watch it.
This film and then the film afterwards. Were the two big reasons why I like this theme. We're on our final 3 of this series before we go to our next theme.
Love themes.
Yeah.
Good night, Mommy.
Yes.
Fuck, I should have saved that as my sign off. I should have said that as my I spoiled it already.
There you go. German film. Starring German actors. Directed by a German director.
It's gonna be great. Please, heads up for that episode, because you're gonna love it.
Yeah. And then of course the remake of it, starring the queen of all remakes, Naomi Watts. Which, like I said, I'm excited. I've never seen either. I've had people for years tell me I'd like the original, so we'll see.
You're gonna love the original. No, you're gonna like the original. I'm putting you in with low expectations.
Okay.
You're gonna be okay with it.
Yeah. So, Chelsea, where can people find you?
Hopefully in bed in the next couple minutes. I don't know. Then you can find me at Chelsea.LeSage on Instagram, and then at Cameo at cameo.com/Chelsea.LeSage. And where can they find you, Charles?
They can find me at charles.d.lincoln on Instagram. And then they can also find me on Patreon on patreon.com/CharlesDLincoln, one word. And you can find us
Together. It's CL Square Productions on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And Cinematic Autopsy now has a Facebook page.
Woohoo!
Yes. And it is.
Yeah, just look it up. They didn't give us like YouTube. Facebook isn't doing that anymore. They're not just like giving you like an easy URL, which sucks. They changed.
Well, you could just look up Charles and Chelsea's Cinematic Autopsy.
Yes, they changed that format like 2 months, like 2 or 3 months ago for whatever reason. The policy and won't give new ones out. Which, but yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh. So anyway, we want to thank you for listening to us, and yeah. So.
Yes,
I will say I do not endorse any arson.
Yeah, but thank you guys for listening. Sorry about the party above where I'm at right now, but I can't wait for Charles to see Goodnight Mommy.
There you go. All right, everyone. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.